A new season in Japan that starts here. Welcome to the action from Tokyo's National Stadium, venue for the 30th edition of the FUJIFILM Super Cup, where we are guaranteed a new name on the trophy. League champions Yokohama F Marinos have famously never won this competition, despite contesting it 5 times previously, whilst opponents Ventforet Kofu are involved in the traditional curtain raiser for the first time, thanks to their remarkable run to Emperor's Cup glory last year, a maiden major trophy for the club at the end of a season which saw them finish down in 18th position in the second tier. Now the side from the Yamanashi prefecture, who put out 5 J1 clubs en route to winning the cup, aim to cause another upset by adding further silverware this afternoon. This fixture was introduced at the start of the J-League era, first being contested in 1994. It is a fascinating matchup with which to usher in another new season in Japan. A J-League original in Yokohama F Marinos, 7 times league champions, attempting to add a first ever Super Cup to their list of silverware after so many near misses in this showpiece. And up against them, a Ventforet Kofu team who scripted one of the great underdog stories in the history of Japanese football last season, with their incredible run to Emperor's Cup success and a first ever major trophy. Taking their stage today at the new National Stadium in the capital city of Tokyo, hosting the Super Cup here for the first time. Going through the pre-match formalities here, we will have the national anthem very shortly, and a moment of silence to remember the victims of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. The teams taking their place in the sunshine in Shinjuku, the old National Stadium, a regular venue for this final before its demolition, the last of those back in 2014. It's been held in Yokohama, including last year at Nissan Stadium, and for the 4 years before that in Saitama. But we're back in the capital at this 80,000 capacity arena, the biggest in the country, for the FUJIFILM Super Cup.
皆様、お願いします。富士フィルムスーパーカップ2023、まもなくキックオフです。
Moment of silence to remember the victims of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria, which has caused such devastation and cost so many lives. Japan, which has suffered so much itself down the years, standing shoulder to shoulder with all those affected. Wonderful atmosphere inside the National Stadium at the start of a new season in the sunshine. And there will be a new name on this trophy. Was previously played during the old Japan Soccer League days, but was never a standalone competition, the Super Cup back then. The meeting between the champions and the cup winners served as the first game of the new league season. Ventforet Kofu become the 18th different team to contest the current iteration, the first J2 team since 2012. And we're guaranteed a 13th different winner this year, in contrast to last season when Urawa Red Diamonds took the trophy for a fourth time 12 months ago. The league champions in their traditional colours in the blue. Ventforet Kofu all in the white, their change kit, as they look to create another big shock today. Last season's success coming in a campaign where they suffered so badly in the league, 18th in J2. A fall from grace, having been just 4 points from promotion in 2021. They haven't played in the top flight now since 2017, but they beat 5 J1 teams in winning the cup, all of them either away from home or on neutral territory, as they are today. Let's have a look at the team news for you. 7 of this Marinos team also started the 3-1 win at Vissel Kobe on the final day of last season, which clinched the J-League title. All 4 of the changes come at the back, where goalkeeper Yohei Takaoka and last season's player of the year Tomoki Iwata, who signed for Celtic, have moved on. So there's an opportunity in goal for last season's deputy, Paul Obina-Obi. Takayumi Kamijima is the only new signing to start, although Hatanaka and Sonoda also come in at centre-back. There's 2 overseas players in the starting 11, the Brazilians Anderson Lopez and Elber in attack. The Ventforet Kofu team, picked by new boss Yoshiyuki Shinoda, contains 5 of the 11 who began last season's Emperor's Cup final. He hands starts to 3 new signings, Hayati Mizuno, Kazuhiro Sato and Peter Utaka, the latter 2 of whom are back for second spells at the club. Utaka, a Nigerian international striker, was signed to replace last season's top scorer William Lira, who's left to play in Malaysia. There's a start as well for 42-year-old club captain Hideyomi Yamamoto, who came off the bench to score the winning penalty in the cup final shootout. He is setting out on a 21st season with the club. Wonderful setting under the bright blue skies in Tokyo. Much anticipated meeting with which to kick off the campaign. We do have VAR in operation. Ryuki Kimura in charge of that today. Yusuke Araki is the referee on the field of Tokyo, a J-League official since 2016. Yokohama F Marinos, one of only 2 clubs to have played in every J-League season. Going further back, they are the top flight's longest serving club, taking 7 national titles, 5 of those in the J-League era, including last season when they finished 2 points clear of Kawasaki Frontale in a title race that went to the final day. They will open their defence of it at Frontale on Friday, but silverware at stake first this Saturday afternoon. Some story when Yamamoto stepped off the bench to complete a perfect record in the shootout against Sanfrecce Hiroshima in the Emperor's Cup, and we are off and underway in the Super Cup. Yokohama F Marinos, the reigning league champions, do start as the favourites, but it is a difficult start for them in their traditional colours in the blue. the set piece to face here. As Ventforet Kofu try and step up to the big stage again, as they did so seamlessly last season, taking so many by surprise. Comings and goings at both clubs in the off-season. This is where it all starts to settle down again. Here is the early corner kick. It was in low. Not delivered necessarily with conviction, but it still proved problematic for a split second or so. Kawata, the goalkeeper, launching it long. They are quick to commit players to attack. Kofu, first involvement for Paul Obina-Obi, who sat unused on the bench in all 34 J-League games last season. Getting his opportunity today. It's potentially the first attack of note for Marinos, who want the free kick for the handball, which is not forthcoming. Referee waves that away. Samoto playing it forward. The departure of the goalkeeper Yohei Takayoko, who is in the process of finalising a move to Vancouver Whitecaps in Major League Soccer. A significant departure from last season's success. As of course was the move of the J-League Player of the Year, Tomoki Iwata, to join his former coach Ange Postecoglou at Celtic. Here come Ventforet Kofu once more, asking most of the early questions here. Peter Utaka was the target in the middle, a solitary target. It's just over his head. He will try and provide the focal point in attack on his return to the team for whom he scored 21 goals in a J2 season back in 2019. He spent the last 3 years with Kyoto Sanga before returning this term at the age of 38, capped 7 times by Nigeria. A winner of the Super Cup in 2016 with Sanfrecce Hiroshima. As a goal scorer in that game. His experience could be key. It's a strong start this from the underdogs. It will be a free kick for the challenge on Mizunuma. A second spell with Marinos. 4th year of that second spell. He won his first 2 caps for Japan actually back in the summer in the East Asian Championship. Takahashi represented his country on 32 occasions. In towards last season's top scorer, Anderson Lopez, yet to get involved this afternoon. 11 goals he got in taking the title. He's expected to be the main threat up front. Tanaka, as they try and build from the back. So part of that Japan team back in the summer, not part of the team that reached the round of 16 at the World Cup. He does have 10 caps for his country. Free kick here for the foul on Elbert. Another key player on that left-hand side. 3rd season since his move from Bahia in Brazil, where he'd previously spent the entirety of his career. He scored 3 goals in the last 2 games of last season to clinch the title. It did go to the wire, the J-League title race. They've led it since the summer. Zunama is going to take the free kick and does so short. Get it back here with a better angle maybe to deliver directly into the penalty area. They claim the corner and don't get it. Did actually start last season slowly, Yokohama F Marinos. So interesting to see if they can hit the ground running today. Kuyakida there is the captain, 1 club man. Came through the youth ranks back in 2007. Stalwart to the side in that defensive midfield role. With Watanabe alongside him, but he was the player dispossessed. This is Torikai. He covered good ground before being caught. Shiki Torikai again causing some early issues. Scored on his last appearance at the end of last season, the victory over Iwata Grula Morioka. 18th placed finish in J2. They have never been lower. They claim that major trophy for the first time, winners of the 102nd Emperor's Cup, the oldest competition in Japanese football. Nagato, forward first time from the fullback. Second season since his signing from Kashima Antlers, where he spent the previous 2 years. Seven subs named on the bench for this showpiece, 5 of whom can be introduced. And if it's all square after 90 minutes, we go straight to a penalty shootout. And Marinos have lost 3 of those in the Super Cup down the years. They'll be hoping to get this done in the 90 today. This is Mizuno, straight out of university for this season, straight into the action today. Sonoda has to concede the corner. It's the first senior season for Hayata Mizuno after leaving Toyin University. It's on a 2-year contract at the start of the month. Playing with a real freedom so far. Looking to link with Miura down that left-hand side. Who started just the once in the league last season. Didn't feature in their cup run. The Tokyo-born Sota Miura, a permanent member of the squad. Matsumoto will take the corner kick. Very congested penalty area. Was dealt with initially, back in. Good stop by the goalkeeper, and there's maybe further work to do before it's flashed over the top. Well, Obina was equal to it in goal. As he had to be here. First major threat of note of the game, nearly 8 minutes in. He is in a 5th season with the club, actually, Paulo Bino Ope in goal. As mentioned, he was very much the backup on the bench last season. They have actually signed another goalkeeper, only on Thursday, too early to feature today. Hiroki Ikura, returning to the club for a second spell from Kobe. At the other end, come Marinos with Nagato. Still the threat, maybe. Watanabe. Nagato. It's cleared only as far as Elbert. Those in blue keeping the pressure on in this little period of possession. Go to Watanabe. Here's Elbert. Score of 8 league goals last season. Kamishima will keep it in. Kida. It's their best period of possession of the game. Style very familiar to the City Football Group, of which Marinos are part. Have a 20% stake in the club, the rest owned by Nissan. Based, of course, in the city of Yokohama. Club that have established themselves amongst the leading lights of the J-League. Only 2 ever-present teams since the first season back in 1993. Torikai. Into the gloves of the goalkeeper, but you can see what he was trying there, Yoshiki Torikai. And they've been unbowed from the start, Ventforet Kofu. Not been caught in the headlights on the big stage, far from it. Determined to take the game to their opponents. It's the game plan that worked so well for them in the Emperor's Cup last season. Cup run that wasn't enough for the coach to keep his job. Tatsuma Yoshida departing at the end of 2022. Yuka Shinoda coming in for this season, returning to the club in November, 31 years after leaving his hometown team as a player. Some game with which to start his reign today, isn't it? Trophy at stake on his debut in the dugout. There's Kida again. Marinos just beginning to assert their authority now. Neatly worked for Kamishima. A little bit of space here for the shot. He couldn't keep it down. To Watanabe, not noted for his goal scoring, was the one that popped up in a promising position. Hasn't scored actually since October of 2020 against Nagoya Grampus. Shimura it was who afforded him the opportunity. He did score a couple of goals actually in playing all three of Japan's internationals in the aforementioned East Asian Championship last summer. Reached double figures in J1 last season as well for Marinos. Shimura likely to be a key creative threat in this side. A little deflection there, will carry it for the corner. Expect the majority of the permitted substitutions to happen in the second half of a game such as this. Something a little bit different from the corner kick, and Elbert wasn't quite able to take advantage of that. Ventforet Kofu finding it tougher now to get out of their own half, having taken the game to the league champions in the opening exchanges. The side though that has forced the one that's significant save of note of the game so far. We'll take heart from that, I'm sure. Watanabe, 5th season at the club since joining from Tokyo Verde. Kida. This is Elbert. 3 to try and aim for inside the penalty area. Tanaka. Kamishima. Joined from Kashiwa Reysol. 2-year contract signed at the end of last year. The only new signing actually that's made the starting 11 today. Still very much a work in progress. Almost inevitably changes after a successful league title winning season, because other clubs from elsewhere come in for your players. There is the new coach of Kofu. Shinoda knows that his priority will be promotion, looking to return to the top flight for the first time since 2017. Because of last season's Empress Cup success, not only do they play today, they'll be involved in the AFC Champions League as well for the first time later in the year. Have plenty of previous managerial experience, Shinoda, with the likes of Avispa Fukuoka, FC Tokyo and Shimizu S-Pulse. A couple of years since his last managerial role, though, before this season. And his team, having pushed forward, might be caught out at the other end here. Elbert, the target, does reach him towards Anderson Lopez. Elbert. Watanabe. Nishimura. Always making himself available. He's the one trying to find those little pockets of space in and around the penalty area. Kida did well to bring it under control. Prioritising possession. Here's Takuya Kida again. Confirmed as captain once more for the coming campaign. Always an honour and a responsibility, he says, that he will never take for granted. A regular in that role over the last few seasons. Ventforet Kofu trying to put the pressure on. Not afford their opponents too much time on the ball. Today for the first time since September of 2017. These two sides. A bit of space here for Elbert. Anderson Lopez trying to dig it out from under his feet. He will have to settle for the corner kick. It did get a nick on the way behind. Second season for the Brazilian after those 11 goals last year. Plus a further 3 in continental competition. It's his 7th season in total playing in J1. There's Katsuya Nagato, who's gone across to the other side to take the corner kick. Full occasion for the supporters to embrace without perhaps the type of pressure usually associated with games such as this. They'll be desperate to win one, Marinos, having come so close so often in the Super Cup and always fallen short so far. They lost as Nissan Motors in 1984 in the previous iteration of the competition. Beaten in 1996, back-to-back in 04 and 05 as well, both on penalties. They lost to Sanfrecce Hiroshima in 2014 and most recently 2020 against Vissel Kobe, also in a shootout. The goalkeeper that denied them that day, actually, Hiroki Ikura, is the player who I mentioned who signed for them just a couple of days ago for the coming campaign. Great anomalies, really, of Japanese football that Marinos have actually lifted the Super Cup. Favourites to put that right today, under the reigning J-League Manager of the Year, familiar figure in the dugout in Kevin Muscat. He took his team to the title last season, having succeeded fellow Australian Ange Postecoglou in the summer of 2021, previously served as the now Celtic manager's assistant, just as he did with former club Melbourne Victory. Spent 8 years Muscat in the UK as a player with Palace, with Wolves, Rangers and Millwall. Known for his uncompromising style, shall we say, on the pitch. He's had great success in the dugout so far. Signed a new contract to stay in Yokohama for this season. It's been a little bit of a rebuilding job for him after the breakup of the team that took the title. Particularly defensively, that's where the majority of the changes have been in the off-season. The space here for those in white. Sugai striding forward from full-back, and Torikai just got underneath the shot. Couldn't trouble the target with that one. Started from just inside their own half, though. 4 goals in J2 last season for Yoshiki Torikai. And he was on the score sheet in that remarkable cup run as well. He actually started the final. It was his only start of the Emperor's Cup run. Substituted in extra time. He went to university in Yokohama. Nagato combining with Elbert. The Brazilian has it back again. They've worked that really well, neat one-touch football. Nothing at the end of it for Kida though. He's getting into some relatively uncharacteristically advanced positions, Takuya Kida, in the opening quarter of the game. He ever scored once in 162 J-League appearances. Nishimura is crowded out of it there. Kida was caught. Certainly heavily involved in the story so far is the captain. Marinos not hanging around here. Touch for Hatanaka. Kamijima. Back to the centre-back. Shinosuke Hatanaka. Sixth season now with Marinos. Just running out of room on that far side. Tsunema. Someone they'll look to get more involved than maybe we've seen so far. Midway point of the first half, and nothing in it yet. Kawata clears it away. Could come back towards him yet. Watanabe. See how confident all of those in blue are on the ball. Possession-based game has been drilled into them, not just by Kevin Muscat, but by Postecoglou prior to that. As I mentioned, it's how the City Football Group like their teams to play. 11 of those teams around the globe. Elbert. Sonoda. Elbert again, looking for options here. Sugai was the one snapping at his heels. Leave it for Watanabe. This time there was no end product for Marinos. Kawata coming under pressure from Anderson Lopez, who wasn't content to give that one up. His presence important perhaps in a little panicky clearance that has presented possession back to the league champions, who have won 17 of the 29 editions against the cup winners in the J-League era before today. Have the free kick for the foul on Elbert. Fairly blatant one that, wasn't it? As the challenge came in from Torakai. There is certainly somebody they will be looking to for attacking inspiration today. He was named in the J1 Best 11 last season as part of the title-winning team. The goal scorers on the last day's success at Vissel Kobe that clinched the title by 2 points from Frontale. It's title they took and who they meet on Friday to open the new season. There's the free kick into a dangerous area. Played out only as far as Mizunuma. All being played inside the Kofu half just at the moment. Popping up on the other side. Plenty of noise still being made at the atmospheric National Stadium. Most of the opening and closing ceremonies of the most recent Olympic Games, of course. The plan was to remove the athletics track. That is no longer the case. It will actually now be the venue for the World Athletics Championships in 2025. Stored as the home of the big showpieces in Japanese football again. Super Cup had been on the road in the last few years. Relatively short trip to the capital for both of these clubs. There's actually Hidehiro Sugai that is wearing the captain's armband, despite the presence of the club skipper, Yamamoto. He started once in that run to Emperor's Cup glory. First joined back in 2003. It's nearly done. Utaka helping it on to Sugai. Yamamoto. Utaka. A little bit of room in which to work. He's put a bit too much on that for Mizuno. Not going to reach it. So the new boys attempting to combine. Complete contrast to Yamamoto. Seen and done most things at the club. Never played this Super Cup before. Quite a return for Shinoda. A Kofu native. Big responsibility to try and guide this team back to where they want to be this season. They want to be playing the J1 sides on a regular basis. They have looked threatening from those sort of situations so far. That one is deflected wide, and on this occasion the goalkeeper wasn't required. Sonoda on the way behind. Ventforet Kofu supporters determined to enjoy the occasion as well. Sure, when last season began, they could barely dream of being in this sort of position. Hoisted high, a little bit too high. I suspect that Kofu need to make the most of set-piece situations today. Hasn't quite happened for them yet in that respect. Such an incredible story, though, that they scripted last year with the cup run that they went on against all the odds. There's at Consadole Sapporo, at Sagan Tosu, at Vispa Fukuoka. Kashima Antlers in the semi-finals. They've been carved open here. It's a brilliantly worked goal. It's Elbert who finishes it off. And it's the champions who strike first in the Super Cup. That's a lovely goal. Patient and measured in the build-up. And a composed finish from the Brazilian at the end of it. Just before the half hour comes the breakthrough at the National Stadium. Period of possession that started just inside their own half of the field. He's been left unattended at Elbert. Quickest to react. Just caresses it into the corner. Well, he ended last season as their form player in front of goal. 3 goals in the last 2 league games to secure the J-League title, and now the opening goal of the Super Cup. His partner in attack, Anderson Lopez, played his part as well in the creation of it. Familiar understanding that they fostered last season resurfacing at the start of the new campaign. And here they come again, looking to completely seize command of the contest. Concession of the free kick will just afford Ventforet Kofu the chance to clear their heads again. Lovely awareness, wasn't it, by Anderson Lopez, and indeed really by Sugai, who knew, I think, that Elbert was just beyond him and better placed to profit. So it's over to the cup winners to try and respond. Peter Utaka taking on Kamijima, and taking on the shot. Ambitious really from that sort of angle. It's a player that has played in the top flight in the J-League, 17 goals he's got at that level. The 21 goals he scored in his previous spell with Ventforet Kofu in 2019. He's replacing a key player for this season in William Lina, who was the top scorer last term. The move to Malaysia in the off-season. Certainly wasn't just Yokohama F Marinos of those two teams who lost key players since the end of the previous season. A little risky, but was coolly done in the end, and the free kick is forthcoming, to the obvious frustration of the champions, who are continuing the complaints here in the direction of referee Araki. It's Eduardo Mancha who was caught, another of the Brazilians. Joined halfway through last year, actually, from the Portuguese second-tier team Forense. He's travelled centre-back, hoping to establish himself as first choice in the coming campaign. 3 times en route to their cup success after joining last summer. Such is Marinos' history in this fixture, though, that they won't be sitting comfortably at this stage despite the early advantage. Sonoda, Tanaka. Tsunema was battling for that, not afforded too much time on the ball at all, but he has got the decision here. Experienced member of the side now. His second spell, first joined the club when he came through the youth ranks back in 2002. Big ambitions for the season ahead, and it all starts here. Have certainly shown enough in attack to suggest they are more than capable of getting back in this. This is Utaka. And, back doing his defensive duties, but his header actually has steered them back into some trouble initially. Maybe not hanging around in releasing it quickly for Nagato. A little Good flick on by Lopez. Again, it is well worked. Again, there are plenty of options here. Shot when it comes from Sugai onto the roof of the net. It was deflected onto the roof of the net. Well, advance from fullback. Didn't score last season, Kazuya Nagato. 3 goals in over 150 appearances in the J-League. Forcing this corner kick. Zunama's going to take it. And it just evaded the head of Anderson Lopez. It's into a really threatening area, that one. Majority of those that had ventured forward in blue will stay up there because they have it with Hatanaka. Watanabe. Goalkeeper Obi so confident on the ball, but ultimately they've lost it. Changes likely in the second half, I'm sure. And certainly under Kevin Muscat, it's very much a squad game. Looks to rotate his team, particularly given all the competitions that they're contesting. Involved in the AFC Champions League again. They went out in the round of 16 last season. There's the Emperor's Cup, there's the J-League Cup as well to contend with this campaign. He's likely to need everybody. Certainly the message from Muscat. Nagato. And again, the goal scorer Elbert. His effort half an hour in remains the difference. We've seen already today the threat that Anderson Lopez, the joint top scorer last season, can pose. The other joint top scorer has since departed. There's Ciara. One of those to leave at the end of last year. Cerezo Osaka, actually, domestic rival. Interesting to see how they deal with his absence in this coming season. The early signs have been encouraging. Elbert. For Anderson Lopez, who will get on the end of it. Hasn't been dealt with. Bit of a miskick from Nishimura in there. Good hit though when it came from Kamijima, and Kawata was equal to it. Smart stop because he might not have been expecting that. Takumi Kamijima looking for a debut goal. So we head towards the final 5 of the first half in Tokyo. Much in it in terms of shots at goal in this first half so far, and from that statistic, Ventforet Kofu will take encouragement. They haven't yet, though, been able to take their chances. Torikai was on the move through the middle. Didn't quite reach him. Nagato did well. Albert. Just to put into context the extent of their achievement last season, Ventforet Kofu, they'd never previously been beyond the quarter-finals of the Emperor's Cup in their history. 4 times before to the last 8. Their average league attendance last season was just under 5,000. Finished 18th in J2, 16 points adrift of the top 6 and the playoffs. They were closer to relegation. And yet they prevailed through 6 ties to win the Emperor's Cup. That's a good ball. Well weighted for Nagato once more. He's the furthest forward from full-back. He was looking for Anderson Lopez. And they will settle for the corner. It's another opportunity for the likes of Sonoda to venture forward from the back. It's a good ball that located the run in the first place. Yamamoto under pressure just about did enough, did all he could to keep the danger at bay. Here comes the corner. Slightly deeper delivery this time than those that have preceded it, and a chase on for Sonoda to keep the ball in play, which he is successful in doing. Nagato. Mizunuma. Cizelpe. Shrugged off the ball by Sato, but not for long. And it's just over the head of Anderson Lopez, and we said that before. It was Nishimura that tried to find him this time. Tried to take the long way around Miura before the challenge came flying in on him. Home though so far, hasn't he, on that left-hand side? So tries to establish a regular starting spot for himself this season for the first time. Plenty to try and pick out again here. Options in white. Really been able to get Utaka into it. Rest of his 7 caps for Nigeria, coming back in 2011 now, Peter Utaka. He's presented with chances. You suspect he might score, and there, right on cue, he does score, but it's not going to count. The celebrations cut short by the flag. Just when he thought he'd popped up in a perfect position, Peter Utaka. Was it the correct call here? Oh, it's close. Certainly in that phase of the play, he looked to be onside. VAR will be having a look at it. Currently checking. This is a big moment. With just a minute of the first 45 to play. It's entirely possible that he may be able to resume those celebrations yet. Ryuki Kimura is the video assistant referee. Currently having a look at the footage. Assistant referee that gave it as offside after the ball hit the net. Utaka making a second debut for the club. Does he get the touch to the ball here? That's what they're currently looking at. It's a difficult one to tell, isn't it? Going to have one additional minute at the end of the first 45. This is a lengthy check, which suggests just how close the call it is. It will have a huge bearing on the mood inside the stadium. at half-time, certainly, one way or the other. Back in 2016 when he scored as a substitute in the Super Cup, a winner with Sanfrecce Hiroshima against Gamba Osaka. And still wait to find out whether he has got another goal in the Super Cup. Turned on a free transfer for this season from Kyoto Sanga on the 9th of January. Signed for this season, going straight into the side today as he got himself on the score sheet. It goes on, tells you just how close a call it is, also how important a decision this is in the context of the game. Let's take another look at it, as the officials are currently still doing. Takes it away confidently. Through ball played by Eduardo Mancha. We're appealing straight away. Yokohama F Marinos. Convinced that there was a touch here. That's what's clouded the issue somewhat. Torakai that had the presence of mind just to cut it back for Peter Utaka to stick it away. He become active earlier in the move because of the touch just in front of him. And it appears that the referee, after that lengthy check, has been advised to come and have a look for himself at the pitchside monitor, which usually suggests the decision may be overturned, not always. Of offside calls, it's usually more clear-cut. So many different aspects to consider, I guess, which is why it's taking so long. Clearly the VAR has seen enough to advise referee Araki that he might want to reassess. He himself has had a lengthy look, and let's see what conclusion he comes to here. It's an equalising goal. And Ventforet Kofu are level in the Super Cup. They did have to wait to resume those celebrations, but the goal is good, the goal stands. Peter Utaka has scored on his second debut for Kofu. And the Tricolor have been pegged back in Tokyo. 1-1 heading towards half-time. Made by Eduardo Mancha with the through ball. Torakai helping it on for Utaka to score. And we're all square again. Kofu generally tended to lead from the front in last season's Emperor's Cup run. But a role reversal so far this afternoon. Can they go in on terms? That's the next challenge. They won't be too long. And about a 5-minute wait to play the one additional minute that was indicated by the fourth official. So the half-time whistle will be on the way very shortly. Done by Albert. Way to pass for Anderson Lopez as well. For a moment or so, it looked like it was going to open up for the shot. Couldn't get it away. Nishimura unable to take advantage either. Here is Hitamaka. Tsunoda. Nagato. Marinos just trying to reassert their authority, clear their own heads really heading into half-time after the disappointment of that concession. It does look like they will have to do it all over again in the second half now. Thanks to Ataka's goal. One last attack off the half, maybe. That is, though, the half-time whistle, and the teams will head for the tunnel on terms, thanks to Peter Ataka's equalising goal. Scored in the last minute of the first half, only after a lengthy VAR check gave the goal that was initially disallowed for offside. Yokohama F Marinos having gone in front through Elba half an hour in, but at the break in Tokyo, it is 1-1. Almost set then for the start of the second half in the Super Cup. Peter Utaka's equalising goal just before the break, getting Ventforet Kofu back on terms against the domestic champions. Yokohama F Marinos had gone in front half an hour in a really well-worked goal scored by Elbert. It was not a lead that they could hold to half-time. Only 5 minutes it took VAR to confirm Utaka's goal, which was initially ruled offside. Let's see what difference that has made to the course of the contest. They remain level at the end of the 90 minutes. We go straight to a penalty shootout to determine which of these clubs will see their name on the Super Cup for the first time. So it is Yokohama F Marinos, the reigning J.League champions, to get the second half underway in the early afternoon sunshine in Tokyo. Really good game so far. 70% of the possession for Marinos. They've looked wonderful in possession throughout the majority of the match, but despite having less of the ball, significantly less of the ball, Kofu still created chances even prior to that equalising goal. Started the first half very strongly, those in white. They'll look for something similar here. Does reach Utaka. He's able to get on the end of that, taking on Tsunoda. He did have support. Utaka, he shot when it came from Hasegawa. Wasn't as threatening as it might have been. Just took a couple of touches and wasn't really able to manufacture the requisite angle there. Motoki Hasegawa. Started last season in fine goal-scoring form, actually, for Kofu. 5 in his first 9 in J2. 4th season at the club. Operated really on the periphery in that first half. It's been an encouraging start to the second half for the J2 team, as they look for another major upset and another piece of silverware. A painful one. Moto on the receiving end up against Elbert. It's the veteran centre-back who stayed down. Remarkable really to see him out there at the start of the game at the age of 42, the start of his 21st season with the club. A little concern for his coach here. His winning penalty that clinched that trophy. The first in their 58-year history. First formed by a group of volunteers back in 1965. It was a painful collision, wasn't it? Down a division when he first arrived 20 years ago from JEF United Ichihara. 8 of those previous 20 seasons, though, in the top flight. Understandably such a favourite, Hideyomi here. Must be some doubt over whether he's going to be able to run that off. It's not really an occasion the start of a new season to take any chances. Temporarily down to 10 with play back underway. Hasegawa. Sugai joining in with the attack, only to give the ball away. Touch in there for Mizunuma. Yamamoto is restored to the action. He's going to attempt to continue. Expect it to be too long before we do see changes anyway, though. 24 in the attack. This is Mizuno towards Utaka, who just lost his footing, and therefore his balance as a result of that. Elber's turned into traffic. Eduardo Mancha, who played his part in the equalising goal with a through ball. Puts it back to goalkeeper Kawata. decent distance on his clearance. Here is Yamamoto back in the action. Sugai, the captain. Watanabe. This is Anderson Lopez. Sizing up the shot was Nagato. He's done on a couple of occasions already today. Quite found his range yet from that sort of distance. Did just open up for the shot. He had a clear glimpse of goal. He last scored in April of 2021 for his former club, Kashima Antlers. And Lopez there, much more regular goal scorer. Top scorer last season. Played his part in the Marinos goal today. Very much operating as the central striker. Joined a year ago after a brief 6-month spell in the Chinese Super League. Turning to the J.League. He had success previously with Sanfrecce Hiroshima and Consadole Sapporo. Been well worked for Anderson Lopez. Here he is. Mizunuma just over the head of the Brazilian. Battling for it was Kida. It's cleared as far as Sonoda, but time to assess his options. So again, Marinos just beginning to exert their authority over proceedings, dictating the tempo of the game, certainly. Tanaka to Kamijima. Challenge was by Hasegawa, and he's conceded the free kick. Patient possession from the champions, but there's always a purpose behind it. Spread wide by Watanabe for Elper. Watanabe once more. What of the play going through he and Kida in those central midfield positions. Talk about dictating the tempo, it's those two really that are operating as the conductors in that respect. Away by Kamijima. This is where Ventforet Kofu have to remain disciplined though. Instead it's Mizunuma, who just took one touch too many, too far ahead of him. Enabled Eduardo Manchin to step in and clear, and now Otaka will put the pressure on Tanaka, who improvised a little bit but got the job done effectively enough. Back to Obi. Club out of university in 2019, Paul Obina Obi. He's hoping that this might be his big breakthrough season, his 5th year at the club. They do have options in attack here. Elbert taking over. Kamijima. New signing seems to have slotted straight into the side at right back. Of notable friendlies that they've played already in the build-up to today. 3-0 winners against Verspa Oita. 5-1 against Swagen Kanazawa. game played across 4 quarters of 30 minutes each. Try and get game time into as many members of the squad as possible. Complete command in terms of possession of the ball. As yet unable to see that superiority reflected again in the scoreline. Part of the game plan for Yoshiyuki Shinoda and his team. They would have expected this. They would know that they would have to deal with long spells of the game such as this. The discipline that I talked about is so far being maintained, keeping their shape, sticking to their jobs, challenging the champions to try and break them down. Watanabe. Nagato to Kota Watanabe. There's Kida. Anderson Lopez. Might come back to him yet, still in there scrapping for it, but ultimately to no avail. There's plenty of purchase on Kawata's clearance, where Utaka is underneath it. Couldn't make it stick though. Kanejima back to Hatanaka, and they'll build again. A little stumble at the end of last season. They're used to doing things the hard way, I guess, Marinos. Lost 2 games on the bounce before winning the last 2 to take the title. Did start last season fairly sluggishly, winning actually only one of their first 5 league games. Before going on a wonderful run between April and July. 11 wins out of 13 took them to the top of the table, and that was a position that they would never relinquish despite being pushed all the way by Frontale. And it goes towards Anderson Lopez here, and the bounce of the ball might favour him. Not quite. For a split second or so, he must have thought he was about to get lucky there, Anderson Lopez. Didn't get a touch to it, but was well marshalled by Eduardo Mancha. He kept his composure. After that little bit of uncertainty from teammates in front of him. Does look like he's going to be a key figure at the back in what will be his first full season at the club, and seemingly shortly we will see the first substitution of the Super Cup. No surprise as we head towards the hour mark. Anderson Lopez here picking the pocket and still going, unable to go all the way through as it appeared was his intention. Nagato by Miura, as far as Kamejima. Mizunuma. There's Kida, the captain. Relative rarity these days, a one-club man. Real affinity with the fans because of that, for what he represents. The homegrown players. There are 4 in the matchday squad for Marinos today. No limitation these days on the number of overseas signings a J-League club can make, but only 5 of them can be included in the matchday squad. Nishimura. Let's see what he was trying, but before it could reach Elber, it was guided back by Sugai to his goalkeeper Kawata. He's an experienced custodian, the age of 35, a 9th season at the club. Kohei Kawata, formerly of Gamba Osaka. He saved a penalty in the Emperor's Cup final even before it got to the shootout last season. It's a victory against Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Sugai, excellent ball in, and it maybe just took Hasegawa by surprise a little bit. He acknowledges the intention to find him. Touch let him down a little. And here is the first change of the game. Summoned as a sub is Getulio. He's going to take the place of the debutant Mizuno. The Brazilian into the action, who arrived on an 18-month loan deal back in August from Tom Ventforet back home. 5th loan spell of his career. Just the 4 league appearances last season and a couple of appearances off the bench in the cup run. He's hoping for a more prolonged part in the coming campaign. He's got over half an hour of the Super Cup to try and make a difference today. Good ground there. Good Sonoda, Anderson Lopez, back off the post, and it's turned in. And the lead is restored on the hour. Nishimura is the player who profits. And the champions make their pressure pay. They lead for the 2nd time in the game. Anderson Lopez was so unlucky not to be able to claim the goal himself. It all started after the run out from the back and a lovely ball into the path of the Brazilian. He beat the goalkeeper but not the post. The respite for Kofu was only for a split second or so, and Kawata actually should be credited with an excellent save, because he did get a boot to the ball to help it onto the frame of the goal, but it was an open goal for Nishimura to steer the rebound into. Start of his 2nd season with Yokohama F Marinos. Reached double figures in the J-League in his first campaign. He was an important figure in the team that took the title, and he's hoping to help them to further silverware this afternoon. So added a couple of goals in their continental campaign in the AFC Champions League. They'll argue that the lead is merited. Will Marinos? They'd open things up again, because Kofu now are going to have to take a few more chances. They've been retreating, whether intentionally or not, into their shell a little bit, certainly in the 2nd half. That will need to change. Comes, of course, just after they made their first change of the game. Mizunuma. Anderson Lopez returns it for Mizunuma. Finds himself a little isolated. Anderson Lopez goes wider, and he was caught just in front of the assistant referee there by Miura. He's going to get a talking to. Get to see a card in the Super Cup. He's acknowledging his part in it, I think, almost immediately there, Sota Miura. Could be further punishment to come from the free kick. Mizunuma is waiting to take it. His manager Muscat waiting to make Marinos changes. Mateus going to be brought off the bench, another of the Brazilian contingent who arrived late last season. Part of a possible double change, but it will wait until after this free kick. Nagato has joined Mizunuma. It will be the latter to take it, and it's watched into his gloves by goalkeeper Kawata. Fairly comfortable claim for the keeper. Ventforet Kofu have been in this situation before and battled back. They will still harbour belief that they can do it again. First J2 team to win the Emperor's Cup since FC Tokyo in 2011. The first second-tier side actually to win it who didn't top their division in the same season. Toiled instead, as mentioned, down in 18th position, which made that run all the more remarkable. Marcos Jr. is also going to come on for Marinos. It's a good ball. Just over the head of Chatulio. Nagato. Tsunoda, who played his part in the goal that separates the sides again. He's run out from the back. He was a regular last season. Former Japanese under-20 international, Ryotaro Tsunoda. Just the 12 times in the J-League. Afforded his chance by the departure of Tomoki Iwata to Celtic, J-League Player of the Year, expected to be a big loss for Marinos. Not a situation that was unexpected. It's not one that they haven't dealt with before. Kamishima. Zunama. Did he just get to that ball before it went beyond the byline? Only just. Quite reap the reward that he was hoping for, having done so. Give them the chance to make these changes here, I think. A couple of Brazilians. It's going to be Mizunoma's last involvement. He and the goal scorer, Nishimura. Are those making way? Nishimura will hope to do so as the match winner. It's the role that he's currently cast in. Mateus in a second season. He joined in August from Palmeiras. Marcos Jr., much longer serving member of the squad, now beginning a 5th campaign with the club, next to Fluminense, former Brazilian under-20 international. Score of 15 goals back in 2019. It's his standout season at the club. Parts are played. So we head for the concluding quarter of the contest. Didn't actually get amongst the goals last season in the J-League, Marcos Jr. He has 35 to his name in that competition down the years. Still only 30, he will certainly feel there is more to come. Also champions in 2019 when he scored all of those goals, but they've got some defending to do here. Didn't quite get as far as Sato, who was waiting for it. Instead, Watanabe's covered good ground. Options either side. Tried to slip it through towards Yan. That would have been his first involvement, but wasn't able to bring it under his spell. Still the threat maybe. Kamishima. Tsunoda. There's Nagato. They still need the security sense of a 2-goal cushion, Marinos, that they've not yet been able to assemble. Did look comfortable, 1-up in the first half until that late concession underlined just how fragile that position is always going to be. Flicked by Anderson Lopez. Been cut out by Kida, but he's now lost it. And Utaka is the target, well read by the goalkeeper. And he got there first. Been alert to the situation. kept by Japan up to under 23 level. There's the Saitama-born Paul Obina-Obi. His brother Randy actually plays professionally in Portugal's second tier with Oliverense. Heading for the last 20 minutes here. Just signs that Ventforet Kofu are getting back on the ball a bit more as they need to. With a rich history themselves, fanatical support, they've been starved of success though until last season. Well-weighted ball, and the flag has stayed down as Anderson Lopez puts it wide. Didn't think it would have counted anyway, but he wasn't to know that. Marcus Jr. who played him in. We're now going to see the introduction of the Kofu bench of Kazushi Mitsuhira, who was their goal scorer in the Emperor's Cup final. Now 35-year-old forward in his third season at the club, scored 7 league goals for them last season, 4 in 4 in that cup run. He's going to come on and take the place of Torakai for these last 20 minutes. He's a player who means much to the Kofu supporters. Goal against Sanfrecce Hiroshima that opened the scoring in the cup final remains his most recent. Got both of the goals in the fourth round win at Consadole Sapporo as well. Wanting to provide them with that extra option in attack here as they try and salvage the Super Cup. Mateus. This is Marcus Jr. Clearance was by Hasegawa. Still work to do to get it away. Mitsuhira. Marcus Jr. does get on the end of it. Cross wasn't really hit with conviction. Turned by Hatanaka. Ventforet Kofu struggling really to clear their lines. It does keep on coming back at them just at the moment. History that I was talking about does take in a number of spells in the top flight. They had big financial problems in the late 90s, early 2000s. Finished bottom of J2 actually for 3 years in a row. It's back and were playing in the top tier as recently as 2017. Coming under pressure again here. Yamateus looking to bend one, good effort. And it's clawed away by the keeper. Keeping his team in the game maybe, Kawata with that save. Deliberate effort here from Jan. It was dipping under the bar and it would have been in, but for the fingertips of the goalkeeper. A really good stopper, not the first one that he's made today. Perhaps the most spectacular. Still the corner to come. Defending it was Utaka. Got his head to it. Away by Hasegawa. Kawajima really had stayed back for Marinos, so they'll build again here through Watanabe. Yamateus to Marcus Jr. And those substitutions have just injected a little extra attacking urgency into the champions as well. They'll try and help themselves over the line here, try and stretch clear. Zahira was looking for attacker. I suspect the closing quarter of an hour will see the game open up even further because Ventforet Kofu have to take a few chances now. That is going to leave space at the other end where previously there hasn't been too much. It's going to break back here for Jan Mateus. Anderson Lopez was just holding his run. It's still with Jan. Lucas Jr. Nagato had to check his stride to retrieve possession. Finds his captain Kida. Cup winners are having to do an awful lot of work without the ball today, and you do wonder if that might catch up with them in the closing stages. Effectively, of course, in pre-season. I think Kevin Muscat, who played in that position himself, of course, will be happy enough with the debut of Kamishima. He's right at home in this team already. Lucas Jr. Done again for Watanabe, spreading it wider. This is Jan Mateus, again looking to cut in on that left foot. Very deliberate attempt to do so. Still have a player down, actually, which is why the referee has now stepped in. Just a check on the well-being of Anderson Lopez. He hasn't got his goal yet today for Muscat's men, but has certainly played a big part in both of the goals that his side have scored. Just took a tumble after a little shove, it seemed, from Eduardo Mancha, but there didn't appear to be too much in it. To see their side finally get hold of the Super Cup. Another trophy to the cabinet. This is the one that has always eluded them. Three of their previous 5 defeats in the showpiece coming in penalty shootouts. Super Cups in the J-League era have been decided from the spot, and Marinos on the losing side in a third of those. Be so keen to see their side score again to remove any risk of this game going that far. Fabulous turnout, isn't it, at the National Stadium? Just 6 days' time before Yokohama F Marinos get the new J-League season back underway again. Battle of last season's top 2. Should be one to savour. It's this coming Friday night. Ventforet Kofu's priority would be promotion. They start against Montedio Yamagata a week today in J2. Referee lets this go. Jan Mateus has it. Nagato quite fashion a way through. Sonoda is covering. Elbert denied. It's been a bit quieter of late. Nagato won it back well. Anderson Lopez. Wonderful footwork again. Still no finish from him at the end of it. That confidence doesn't need to take a player on. He's only a fraction away from scoring the goal that separates the sides. Miura sticking away the rebound. That remains the difference as we head towards the last 10 minutes in Tokyo. Sorts of space for Marcus Jr. there. By Nagato, kept in by Elbert. Referee had a perfect view of that one. He's given the free kick. Had a spell recently, actually, referee Yusuke Araki in England. The under-21 competition. Premier League International Cup. He was taking charge of a series of those games a few months ago during the off-season in Japan. And another change here. It's Sato who is making way in midfield for Kosuke Takatomi, who joined in January from Kyoto Sanga. Makes a first appearance in Ventforet Kofu colours today. Playing in J1 last season. He was a regular for Kyoto Sanga as well. 22 starts, 3 goals. For a century of appearances in the top flight of Japanese football. Kofu will hope that he can be a key figure for them in the second tier this term. Jr. Anderson Lopez to Elbert. Trio of Brazilians combine. And Marcus Jr. was the furthest forward on the end of that, trying to apply the finishing touch as well. He wasn't quite able to manage. The role has been modified a little bit over recent seasons. Still a key facet of their attacking game plan. Miura has bought himself a little bit of time. Followed by Hasegawa. First involvement for Takatomi. There's an intelligent ball into space for Sugai. Able to deliver the cross first time, took it in his stride. It's aimed towards Mitsuhira. There's an obvious target now in those sort of situations. Further reminder that this is far from finished yet. There will be a free kick. From Takatomi. Some encouraging signs for Shinoda at the start of his reign in charge of Ventforet Kofu. Of new players as well as a new coach. Was likely to take a little bit of time to settle down again. They've risen to the big occasion today. They've played their part, certainly. The change shortly, but not until after this Kofu free kick, which wasn't as threatening as it might have been. Wasn't as threatening as maybe it needed to be at this stage of proceedings. Starting to run out of time now. Kida coming off, he hands over the captain's armband to Hatanaka. His part is done for today. Is that a sign from Kevin Muscat that he feels the job is almost done, that he is prepared to take off his skipper at this stage? Joel Shima Fujita is on in his place. 20-year-old, kept a couple of times by Japan last summer, setting out in a second season with Marinos. A like-for-like change in the heart of midfield. So in terms of the position that he will play anyway. Nagato. Sonoda under pressure from Utaka. It's here for Mitsuhira. Took a tumble off the ball. Ventforet Kofu still had it. The referee was trying to play the advantage, and he has now produced the yellow card for Anderson Lopez. It's the first of the game. This late stage, 5 minutes from the end of the 90. And barging in from behind, so you can't really have too many complaints there over the caution. Stop dreaming of another upset yet. Ventforet Kofu. Hasegawa standing over the free kick. Had plenty of time here to assess his options, and the referee still has a little bit of sorting out to do before he will let the game continue. Then from Hasegawa. Mitsuhira was his target, as he was always likely to be, and he did get his head to it. But Obi not extended in goal. Confirmation of that caution for Anderson Lopez. Hasegawa did well to win it back. Hasn't been dealt with yet. Here's Utaka. Point come for Matsumoto. Now this is the sort of space on the counter-attack I was alluding to earlier. Made up by Marcus Jr. They had time actually to get those back in white behind the ball again now. Marinos still prioritising possession. Need to take chances in pursuit of a third goal. Have met 18 times in total previously, although Ventforet Kofu won the most recent of them in 2017. That was only their third ever victory in this fixture, half of them won by the team from Yokohama. Open up here for Nagato. They did, and he was able to take it on a touch. Has to settle for the corner at the end of it. For a moment it looked like there might be more in that. Moto feeling the pace perhaps at this stage, understandably, and he did have that injury scare earlier in the game as well, the 42-year-old. Looks like he's going to get to the end of it though. Can Marinos finish off the game with a third here? Marcus Jr. It's a deliberate attempt, but too many in the way, really. Nagato. Richie and Mateus with the time to bring it down. Watanabe. Taken away from him by Takatomi, but not for long. Watanabe was looking for the free kick. He was always likely to get it in the circumstances, so they tick the clock down further. They have Ventforet Kofu where they want them. It's been far from straightforward against Sonoda's team. As they will know, having conceded a minute from the end of the first half, the job is not done yet. Has been waiting to take the free kick. It will be touched to him by Nagato. Tanaka. The way back to Obi. But he's still so confident in possession. There's still a spring in the step even in the last minute of the 90. Watanabe to Elver. We'll find out any moment now how much added time there will be at the end of the 90. Is your answer at the bottom of the screen. 4 additional minutes from here. 4 minutes separating Marinos from the Super Cup. Kamishima. Equaliser hasn't looked too likely of late. Could argue something similar applied at the end of the first half as well. Before Ventforet Kofu did level this up. French name, translates literally as vent and forest. As I say, it is a club with such a storied history, such a fervent fan base, who exceeded all expectations last season. They're about to fall short on the big stage today. They really have given it a go. They're still in there scrapping for it. The second-tier team, seemingly set to be denied a further fairy tale. How vocal and how animated Kevin Muscat remains at this stage tells something of the story. His team really are having to work for this. That's the sort of character he is. Tackle was trying to get there, it's cleared away by Sonoda. He couldn't take the chance despite the fact that the goalkeeper was coming for it. Fujita forward. San Lopez couldn't make that one stick. Peter Utaka going back for Marcus Jr. Yeah, Mateus. Marcus Jr. and back again. Kept in play by Hasegawa. Just as the champions were beginning to toy with their opponents to tick the clock down further. Over halfway through the 4 added minutes now. Turned with both the height and distance by Hatanaka. And by Nagato. It could come back at them yet. Hasegawa taking this wider role since the second half substitutions. Cut out on the stretch by Kamishima. It's a well-timed challenge by Matsumoto as it needed to be, because he's won the ball back and all of a sudden there are options here in the penalty area. Been a little academic by what followed, but there'll be a further chance to come from the corner kick. Last minute of added time. Can Ventforet Kofu, against all the odds, force another penalty shootout? Means by which they won the Emperor's Cup last season. Fashion from which Yokohama F Marinos have 3 times lost in the Super Cup. Will be determined to ensure it doesn't go that far again. Even the goalkeeper is up for this. Kohei Kawata has come forward for the corner. Surely the last chance for Ventforet Kofu, aimed in towards the goalkeeper. Teased back in. There's an open goal at the other end, but the pressure remains on the Marinos. Goal! Oh, there it is! But there is the whistle to rule it out. Gentulio who struck it. Offside given. As, of course, initially was their equaliser at the end of the first half at a similar stage, which was overruled by VAR. This time, though, there weren't really any form of celebrations. I think he knew. Wonderful finish though, he really caught hold of that. And of course it will be checked. Could you imagine? We need to see this again just to clarify. Don't think this time there was a genuine belief amongst the Ventforet Kofu players that that one would count. This time the check did not take too long, and that goal doesn't stand. So I think in the build-up. As soon as that ball hit the net, the flag went up. But the drama goes on. They're hoping to make another change right at the end here and bring on another of the new signings. Marinos are going to summon Shahi Uenaka in place of Anderson Lopez. He'll do well, really, to get a touch or two at this stage of proceedings. Brought in on a 2-year contract last month, having spent last season in the second tier. They're about to confirm the victory over the J2 team today in the Super Cup, only after that late scare. Always suspecting the way this had gone, that there would be at least one last chance for Ventforet Kofu. May well have been it. Playing on now only at the referee's discretion. Full time, and for the first time, Yokohama F Marinos have won the Super Cup. So many seasons of near misses in this showpiece, brought to an end with a hard-fought victory over Ventforet Kofu. Yokohama F Marinos 2, Ventforet Kofu 1 in the FUJIFILM Super Cup. Quite some spectacle with which to start the season at the National Stadium. And there is the trophy that finally Marinos will get their hands on. They've been 7 times champions of Japan, but they've always fallen short in this curtain raiser until today. They had to do it the hard way as well, because Ventforet Kofu were never going to accept defeat lightly. Throwing the keeper forward for that late corner, finding the back of the net, albeit from an offside position. And the celebrations will be those of the champions who only clinched the title on the last day of last season after a dramatic title race went the distance. Further silverware to start the new season. That will mean much for Marinos, certainly. Yes, they were expected to get the win today, but a weight of history on their shoulders. And they have, despite that, been able to deliver. And it is their supporters that can celebrate in the sunshine. Hopefully some reaction from pitch side on the way, and then we will see them lift the trophy. Well, they've been in a game though, that is for sure. In front half an hour in through Elbert, pegged back just before the break by Peter Otaka's goal, given after a lengthy VAR check, and then what proved to be the winner just past the hour from Takuma Nishimura. It wasn't the end of the story, but it was the end of the scoring, as it turned out. And they can add their name to the illustrious list of winners of this competition. 13th different side to win it in the J-League era, the 15th different club in total. Let's get some post-match reaction.
見事な決勝ゴール、西村拓真選手です。初のスーパーカップのタイトルを手にしました。今どんなお気持ちですか？
嬉しいです。
ついにリーグも開幕します。今シーズンに向けてサポーターに意気込みをお願いします。
やっと J リーグも始まるので、しっかりこの勢いで開幕からいいスタートが切れるようにみんなで戦っていきましょう。
決勝ゴールを挙げました西村選手でした。おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Did prove to be the match winner in the end with that crucial contribution. Did Nishimura. Although Anderson Lopez will feel unfortunate not to have scored that goal. It was his effort at the boot of the goalkeeper and the post before Nishimura stuck it away. The stage just being set for the trophy presentation at the National Stadium. Bigger challenges to come, but this is just the start to the season that Marinos would have been hoping for.
カテゴリーこそ違いますけど、本当に素晴らしい相手で、マリノス優勢と見てる人も多かったかもしれないですけど、非常に対戦相手としてリスペクトしてましたし、やってみても非常に力のあるチームで、こういういい戦いをできたのは嬉しく思いますし、日本サッカー捨てたもんじゃないなと思っていただけたんじゃないでしょうか。
J リーグ30周年のシーズンとなります。来週には川崎フロンターレとのリーグ開幕戦、サポーターの声も力になると思います。意気込みお願いします。
まずは今日これだけたくさんの人駆けつけてくれて非常にいい雰囲気作ってくれましたし、最初にふさわしい雰囲気を作っていただいたので、まずはそこに感謝を伝えたいですし、甲府さんにも最初の公式戦いい戦いを見せられたと思うんで、対戦相手としても感謝してます。
ただいまより富士フイルムスーパーカップ2023表彰式を行います。富士フイルムスーパーカップ2023優勝は横浜 F マリノスです。見事優勝の願いを飾りました横浜 F マリノスです。富士フイルムホールスの出場者ライトの藤原社長
So they've waited a long time, Yokohama F Marinos, to get hands on this particular piece of silverware. But they start this new season in style by collecting the FUJIFILM Super Cup. The captain Takuya Kida is presented with the trophy and the medals to follow. All smiles at the start of a new season. An impressive performance as well, with which to kick off the campaign. A new look side to a certain extent, particularly at the back, but you would not necessarily have known that from the cohesive nature of the performance. It does bode well for the challenges to come over the course of the new campaign, which kicks off on Friday away at Kawasaki Frontale, the team whose title they took last season, that they finished 2 points clear of in the J-League. That is a massive match with which to begin the new league season. But before then, the chance to savour further success and silverware. Really was a team effort to get the job done today against spirited second-tier opposition. Ventforet Kofu proved last year, though, they were not necessarily a respecter of reputation, having beaten 5 J1 teams to take the first major trophy in their history. But there is no second trophy for Kofu today. Captain Kida has the Super Cup in his hands. It's a job really well done by Yokohama F Marinos. Kevin Muscat joining his team as well to start these celebrations. They They are original members of the J-League, ever-present members of the J-League. But for the very first time today, Yokohama F Marinos are winners of the Super Cup. Some start to 2023 for the reigning Japanese champions. The J-League winners have beaten the Emperor's Cup holders to kick off the new campaign. They will hope it is only the start of further success to come in a season that promises much in Yokohama. A triumph in Tokyo with which to kick off the campaign before the opening of the defence of their J-League title just 6 days from now. An anticipated success, but one that was hard-earned. An impressive performance and something of a statement ahead of the new season. One of the great anomalies of Japanese football was that they never won this competition previously. They have put that right in the National Stadium today. Relief as well as enjoyment at the conclusion. More medals around their necks, and as I say, they will hope there will be more to come in the season ahead. Ventforet Kofu played their part. Their priority now will be promotion. But for Marinos, 2023 has started in just the style that they would have hoped. And I hope you've enjoyed it from the National Stadium. From us all here, it's goodbye.